I guess the big greater question is what he's saying grounds to take him off the platform.
I don't know everything he said. I've heard a couple things that are just like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I've
it's
seen
like,
a few
I don't know what the constitution of the platform is.
I don't want to get into like telling people they can't say whatever they want, etc. Especially if they're like doing it with a sense of humor. But and I haven't heard everything that Tate said, but he has said some really funny fucking things.
What is going on YouTube? This is your boy Sagar and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're looking at, we have another Andrew Schulz video for you. We'll be reacting to Andrew Schulz reacting to Andrew Tate being banned off of all social media platforms. If you don't know yet, I'm not sure which rock you've been living under, but Andrew Tate recently got banned off of all social media platforms. Funnily enough, I've still seen some of the words, some of his last words on YouTube even after he got banned. But that man was a menace. I'm glad he's gone. We're gonna check out Andrew Schulz reacting to it. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you want to check out the original video or the link to our mental health community or my Patreon page, all the links will be in the description down below. Without wasting any further time, let's get started.
And from everything or whatever.
He is banned. Okay, Meta announced he's off Instagram and Facebook. Both of his accounts have been suspended.
And now TikTok.
Thoughts?
Yep. Yo, but does it stop anything? Because it's not him posting; it's people posting accounts
Apparently
on their own.
They're going to be pulling off accounts that are affiliated with him or that seem to be promoting his content only.
Oh, anything promoting his content.
If it's the way the business worked is that you would have an affiliation link.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So if you're promoting,
his course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
there's hundreds of Tate pages.
That's why so many people are making the Tate pages because they can make money off.
Yeah,
it.
it's like a pyramid scheme.
Is that I don't know if it's a pyramid scheme.
MLM. It's a MLM is the business term I always hear, but I thought that's essentially a pyramid scheme where you buy my course and then anybody you refer to, you get 50% of the money, which is actually a lot of money. That's pretty generous. But then he gets 50% of everybody. You know what I mean? So he gets his share and he gets rich. But that's called
I don't think you get 50%,
multi-level
but
marketing. Yeah, Mary Kay, Herbalife.
But I thought pyramid, and again, I don't know, but I thought pyramid scheme is where like eventually someone gets fucked.
Okay.
In this, I don't think anybody gets fucked.
Okay.
Well, it depends if it all falls out. Like the people at the bottom.
Everybody who's taking the course is essentially getting fucked. So
once it gets big enough and they can't refer more people, if you have to buy into it, you're investing money and you're losing money to buy like the product up front.
But you still get the course.
Yeah, and so you're out what $200 as opposed to Bernie Madoff. Where you're
like
out.
The pyramid schemes will be like more and more money. It'd be like obviously Bernie Madoff's like your life savings, your pension or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Ponzi scheme. But that's a Ponzi scheme. Okay. That's a little bit
a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that. But even with this one, it's like if you're paying to sell these things, that seems like a scheme. But you're paying for access to these courses.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's something immoral about this.
That's why it's multi-level marketing, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's that bad. If you had to buy in so that you could sell, that's fucked up because eventually, like you're saying, you run out of people to sell, and now you're paying for this thing that you can't do.
Yeah.
Fair point.
But if there's value in this thing, and that's up to the person that's purchasing it, I don't think that that's like, I don't think he's like hurting people. Well, yeah, I don't think he's hurting people by doing this.
It depends on what the content is. If the content is hurting people, then it's hurting people.
Exactly. Yeah, but the structure of the business itself, I don't think is like taking advantage.
I was just going off of the way, hey, you refer two people, then they refer two people, and that's a pyramid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why scheme or not, I don't know. What's a scheme? It's a plan. The scheme isn't a scam.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, here's the way we're doing this.
Yeah,
this is our plan of action.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, what a fascinating.
I mean, it's so fucking smart to take that to TikTok. This is an idea that's existed, multi-level marketing or whatever it's called. But like to do that on TikTok, honestly, you can hate his content all you want to. That idea is going to be replicated. It's already starting to be replicated by so many people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was looking at that like, why didn't I just make a bunch of fake accounts posting my content? What the fuck? Why didn't I think of that? Yeah. It's right there. Smart move.
Yeah.
That is technically very smart move. Honestly, that's pretty nice. Because again, at the end of the day, you're not trying to actually drive traffic to a particular YouTube channel or a particular TikTok account. You're trying to drive traffic to a particular course and where people have to actually buy the course. So, fair.
Yeah, smart.
Now they just crushed his business like that.
Well, that's because the shit he's promoting, people don't like. But if you're promoting stand-up,
some people do like it.
Some people love it, but a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah. I guess that the corporation is concerned about. But if you're promoting like a motivational speech or some shit like that, like if a Tony Robbins were to do this,
exactly.
Like, the platform
the question
wouldn't take
is,
issue.
Would it work for Tony Robbins, or does it need to be this salacious?
It helps to
Definitely
be
helps
salacious.
it being salacious.
It helps to be salacious. But I think Tony Robbins also, those guys speak to something internal. Like you're feeling insecurity for the first time in your life. Some people feel that more often. And when they hear motivational shit, that grabs them. So if they do that and it helps and they start promoting more Tony Robbins content, it'll grab not as much, but it'll still grab and grow.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of salvation. Like if you can be someone's guru. And I think for Andrew Tate, a lot of people, he was their guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what happens with him.
But yeah, I that's my thing though. Is like I don't love his content, but I also don't know if he should be kicked off platforms. Unless he's using the platform to do crime. So like if he's using social media to try to like recruit women for a webcam thing that seems like quasi.
Technically, there were allegations that said that was part of what he was doing. Again, these are just allegations, guys. You can't prove them until they're proven. Let's not go into them. But time and again, this has been proven on what his actual business is. Like, I think there was a British woman or an American woman that was found in his home, due to which, like, because of her, they like did a search, and they also found a Romanian woman, I think. But yeah, if he's recruiting through social media, that is hurting technically.
Illegal, then I can understand why the corporation would be concerned. But
Yeah.
just for like internet misogyny, which obviously misogyny is not good. If he's being serious, like if it's a joke, then it's a different thing. It's like artistic. But if he's being serious and like is being genuinely misogynistic,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's grounds. I guess the company could do whatever they want because they're private. But like for me personally, I'm like, should that be grounds?
I think the tricky thing is when he starts like, or someone in his position starts affecting culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think that's probably what they're concerned about.
Yep.
I saw a conversation, I think it was, I got to credit Gideon. Gideon? Gideon.
Gideon?
Is that how you pronounce it?
I pronounce it Gideon. I don't know.
Gideon. He had an interesting point about, he goes, when kids go back to school, you're going to see the repercussions.
That's the video that made, because I've always just, it's funny and I didn't think people took it seriously, but then I don't know if this is real or not, but some teacher is saying, like, I teach 6-year-olds and you can hear the boys
Yeah, I saw that.
saying, like, to girls, like, you're fat, you need to lose weight, you don't have any worth if you're
Wow.
skinny. And it's like, oh, that's,
Who knows if this is going
you
to
don't,
happen?
and you don't know if it's true or not. You
Well, let
could
me
be-
just say the point that,
Okay.
that Gideon was saying. He was basically saying, like, it's summer right now, so the kids aren't in school.
Yep.
Once they go back to school, they're going to be interacting with girls.
Fair.
And they're going to start saying the things that they've heard and
Yeah.
the red pill shit that has gone across the
Yep.
internet, et cetera. So now,
Yeah. So whether or not that's true, that some teacher had that TikTok, and it's like, oh fuck, if that is true and that does happen, that's sad. You don't want to see that shit happening with kids, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the thing that makes him so sticky is he's funnier than all of those guys, and he's a more unique thinker in the sense that like the way he can present his ideas,
Yeah.
you haven't heard him
Well
present it like
Also,
this.
a lot of it is
Yes, he's
true.
not dumb.
Like a lot of what he says, like will have semblances of truth, but it's also tied in with like crazy
Yep.
vitriol and like lies or things like that.
I think that's a huge point he's making, because I think if you say something and 10% of it does make sense and which is true, but then 90% you're just making outrageous comments and just misogynistic comments, it's gonna bring some people in because of that 10% of the truth that you're telling. It's gonna bring some people in, and that's kind of scary. That's true.
I think would make people frustrated.
I mean, yeah,
Or it's like inflammatory. It's intentionally inflammatory.
it's intentionally inflammatory. But yeah, there you can say something that's true that's like not, I don't want to call it disgusting, but like it's unfortunate. There's a lot of truths that are unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break from this exclusive Patreon clip because I got to tell you all about Surfshark. Surfshark is a modern VPN designed with the user in mind.
Okay,
Their
so
utilities
they're
are
also
used
doing-
device limit your data and by
Sponsors.
nearly
We're gonna
connecting
we're just
trades
gonna
and
skip
and
this.
geobits. And I have Surf 3% Surf Schulz free. Our Patreon, patreon.com/flagrant. A lot of truths unfortunate. And that's the problem when like you try to like create a society that I don't want to say that it's like exists on lies, but sometimes the wokeness goes to a point where it's like we all know we're kind of lying, and it's okay that we're lying because it allows society to be lubricated in
Social
that way.
lubrication, yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's just like, yeah, we should be more accepting. We should do all these things. This is good. And then there's an extreme to that where you have like obese models, and it's like, okay, we all know that that's not the ideal makeup for a woman's body.
Yeah.
We all know that that's not healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Not that skinny models are super healthy,
They're
but
Yep.
they're just as unhealthy.
and we have conversations.
Okay, so that's something I like. They did mention, so they're not actually judging on body weight, right? You could be skinny, you could be obese, but it's about health. Is that really healthy for a woman's body or even for a man's body? That makes sense.
Conversations about this is too
We'll talk
skinny.
about it.
Yeah.
We said this is fucking gross. But the acceptance gets morphed into what's more than acceptance? It's almost like a manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
So
It's an intolerance of anybody pointing out logical things.
yeah, so it's almost like, and you see these figures pop up when this happens, and I wonder if like you could even chart it. It's like Trump can only exist if politicians become so fraudulent, right?
Yeah.
That he comes out and he's like a beacon of light.
Yeah.
Like he's just talking normal when all these people are doing their like little talking points.
Yep.
And when they start to go in their talk, like listening to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump talk on the same stage is like one of the most like mind-boggling experiences I've ever seen, because
Fair.
it's like you're watching a cartoon and then a person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're like it's just like, wait, what has happened? Like, does he really think that that's how you communicate to people?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
I think that hardworking American, da 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 da.
Yep.
And this guy's like, what are you talking about? His wife's fat.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
it's like, who framed Roger Rabbit? It's like, how do humans and cartoons exist in the same world?
And Trump is not being fully authentic and saying fully honest things, but he speaks to that lizard brain part of us, that primal part of us.
Yeah, he's
in a way
he's
that
talking
reads.
just as much shit.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
reads way more authentic than this guy. You look at that guy and you're like, that guy's a product.
Yeah.
And this guy is speaking to me on an emotional level that
Yeah.
seems way more authentic than this.
Yeah, it's like when you see like a shitty comic go up or like a good comic go up and then a shitty one follows it, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
like everything you see from that comic just seems
rough,
like
yeah.
so fabricated and like structured, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't see that good comic go before, you'd be like, oh, this is funny, that was good, a little
Yeah.
misdirection thing, or that
Fair.
was cute. But once you saw the real,
Yeah.
it's hard. Now, obviously with Trump, yeah, he's spouting bullshit too.
Yeah.
But something happens about that. It's like you can't extend the things that we all know not to be true too far,
Yeah.
because it opens up the door for these types of people, the Trumps, the Tates.
Yep.
Does that make sense? what
Yeah,
I'm
and I think the
It
same group
does.
of people
It
that are
does.
creating Tate, that are the, hey, you have to accept everyone, everything is okay. If you have any problem with any of this, you're a monster.
Yeah.
That created Tate. I think that also created Trump, not just fake politicians,
Yep.
but everybody's like, no, you have to tolerate everything. White men are
Yeah.
born evil. There's nothing you do to help it. We got books saying white people are inherently evil.
Yeah.
That seems crazy. So when one guy comes along and is like, yo, you're not inherently evil.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, and they're fuck all this tolerance. They're like, yo,
Yep.
that guy. That's my guy. I've been
Fair.
waiting for some, and even I said this in a bit of mine, but like it festers and it gets dark and it gets angry because you don't get to let it out ever and express it. And then he's saying
So I think, okay, I'll let him finish first.
in the angriest way speaks to your how dark it's gotten.
Yeah.
So I think this reflects a lot on Akash's like special that he did on bringing Apu back, right? I'm not sure if I've already put that out here yet or not, but that will be up soon. But if you talk about how he was talking about how we've tried to stop white people from having, white men from having opinions out loud. So that's, I think, to some extent, the kind of change that we are trying to bring with the idea of being tolerant and the idea of being accepting. I think sometimes people are taking it to a level where you are actually crossing the line and actually trying to, suppress a particular demographic. Only that particular demographic is being told to be to not express themselves and to be tolerant of others because of what their ancestors have done. So I think if this happens and then somebody comes along and that person tries to speak to that same demographic, this is going to happen. He's absolutely right in that, because we've kind of taken this to the whole woke and the cancel culture to a point where we are now trying to suppress anybody that says anything that does not match our preconceived notions or does not match our opinions. So we're just trying to cancel everybody. We're too quick to cancel everybody, to try and say things about them. Not saying that Tate was right in any of the things that he said. Tate was absolutely a menace, but they have a point.
Yeah. So then what should we do? What is like the...
Well, that's my thing.
It
Like
kind of tolerates some intolerance. I think.
blanket
Sorry.
censorship with
Yep.
that kind of a thing. Like, I
Tolerate
feel like
some
we'll just draw
intolerance.
more
That's
attention. And
very well put. Tolerate some intolerance. Know that there are going to be people who will be intolerant, but if you try to suppress them, you're kind of becoming the part of the problem instead of the solution.
the short term. And maybe in the long term, it washes it out completely. But I'm like, if you're a social media company and you don't want to have certain people posting on your platform, I don't know why. And again, I don't know if this is ethical, but just from their perspective, why not just like silently throttle? You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
But I'm saying, like, why not just do that with all Tate content? Let's say Instagram doesn't like his
Silently
content.
throttle.
And
What's
they're
your-
like,
It just makes it look like...
and yeah, and like TikTok, like they're like, oh, we don't want 12 and 15-year-olds going to school, like listening to this shit. So let's just take his content off. Like the algorithm is strong enough that they understand who's talking and what content is. So
Yeah.
like they could just throttle it and take it off
Yeah,
of
but
the people they don't want.
Then you kind of galvanize him if he's still able to be on the platform and he's obviously being throttled. Now it's like you're gonna champion all his fans, like, yo, look,
We're gonna
man.
go even harder
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But I guess how can
Fair.
you prove that
Yeah,
someone's
how can you
obviously
prove
being
it?
throttled?
I mean-
if you're just like, oh yeah, your content's not hitting the same, you haven't changed.
TikTok
up.
in
Like,
particular, you got no control over how that algorithm. You just put some shit up, and you're like, I guess this goes. I guess this doesn't.
Yeah.
I've heard everybody say, maybe not you as
Fair.
much, but they're like, there's so many videos I thought would go crazy and then did not, and so many random videos I thought wouldn't do anything and went crazy. None of us get the algorithm. So
Yep.
TikTok can throttle the easiest.
Yeah. But I think with somebody like him, you kind of have to just remove it altogether. Because it's like, especially if his
Exactly, fair.
game plan is getting people to repost his shit, it's never going to die down.
See, again, you're building a demographic. He's already built a demographic. Even if your algorithm your algorithm tries not to show it to other people on their feed, you still have millions of followers who are gonna come to your profile and visit them and watch your content. So that's
I guess the big greater question
guy.
is what he's saying grounds to take him off the platform.
I don't know everything he said. I've heard a couple things that are just like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I've
it's
seen
like,
a
I don't
few,
know what the
definitely.
constitution of the platform is.
I don't want to get into like telling people they can't
Yeah,
say
he's just not
whatever
even
they
coming
want,
from his
et cetera,
account.
especially
I
if
mean,
they're
that's
like
the beauty
doing it
to
with a
his
sense of
humor,
humor, for his
but,
system.
and
And
I
I
haven't
haven't heard
if you
everything
block
that Tate
him,
said,
it
but he
does
has
nothing.
said some
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
If he
funny
doesn't
fucking
post
things.
any of these videos.
Yeah, I'm not even online. Shitting me for.
Yeah, Max,
So
that's
you
fair
kind of
actually.
have to throttle or
But, yeah.
cancel. I think it's just interesting that like this is always the reaction to extreme wokeness.
Yes.
Right? And I'm sure you look at history, like extreme intolerance probably creates the same version.
Yeah.
Like there's a Tate that is extremely accepting and welcoming and kind.
Yep.
You know, and I wonder if like that's
Hippie movement in the 60s.
is the hippie in the movement 60s comes right after, like this is the generation of kids that grew up and were born World War II,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is post World War II, super conservative nuclear family,
Segregated, super repressed.
intolerant to everything. All of a sudden, the hippies,
Yeah,
they're
free
intolerant to exactly free love for everybody. Yeah,
Wow.
the parents are coming back. These dudes are shell shocked. They don't even know how to fucking hug their kid. They're
Yeah.
waking up in the middle of the night screaming,
Yeah.
drinking their fucking asses off, and all of a sudden, I love you. I love everybody. It is what it is. So I guess it always swings,
Yeah.
right?
That's a really good point. Like, wow. So basically every time you're going to the extreme, it's gonna swing the other way. Every time. That's an amazing fucking example.
But so maybe the version to control this, if we're like constructing society, is like it's censorship on the extreme of both ends. Once you start like positioning obese chicks as like healthy, then you're part of these social media companies go, yo, I think we gotta cancel some of these obese chicks are healthy accounts, because if we let that go on too long, then we're gonna have these motherfuckers that come up and they're just like, bitch, you're fat, shut the fuck up, stop eating donuts.
Yeah.
Right? And on the other side, you know, if intolerance is getting too popular, we gotta cancel some of those accounts, because then all of a sudden these hippies are gonna come
I mean,
back.
the accounts that are like, yo, white people are born evil, that's just who you are.
Yeah.
That's intolerance. You can cancel that.
Yes.
You have
Fair.
grounds to cancel that.
Fair.
Right.
And I think the reason they make these things public, honestly, is it quiets down outrage against us. It's all fucking PR for all of these companies.
Yeah.
You have billions of dollars on the line.
Yeah,
You
it's
have just constant PR.
advertisers, yeah.
So
True,
I could
absolutely
silently
true.
ban Andrew Tate or throttle Andrew Tate, but then I don't get the PR of saying, hey, we ban Andrew Tate.
We bang.
Oh,
Yep.
you think they
Yep.
want the PR?
I think
Yep.
they
Yeah.
want the PR of saying we did the right thing.
Of
The same
course,
way-
why
yeah,
not?
very-
Why
Sorry to
wouldn't
interrupt,
they?
but you're saying they're being criticized for allowing it on
Yes.
the platform, so
Right.
they need
Exactly.
the PR boost
And
by canceling.
alt-right funnels and like that kind of thing.
What is that? Oh, you're funneling
or like
people into
alt-right
this
pipelines
ideology.
and shit like
Okay.
that. That like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
your red pill, funny TikTok clip is actually a wormhole into joining
You know, it's funny.
neo-Nazi group or some shit.
We were talking about this a little bit before. What is funny is that like a lot of these kids are just experiencing things that like young adults
Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
and unfortunately they're getting like rewarded for it,
Yep.
and they may not have the time to like evolve and then grow out of it. You touched on this with the Fresh and Fit
Yeah.
guys, right? And you thought that they were a little bit old. They should have evolved
Yeah,
and grown out of it.
right.
But maybe they reached it at a later time because their maybe development was stunted from
Fair.
stuff
Yeah.
when they were
Absolutely.
younger. But yeah, I think guys go through a frustrating time
Yep.
where the ideology of Tate or the ideology of certain people in the manosphere makes a lot of sense to them. I mean, I definitely felt it when I was younger.
100%.
It's like the thing that you want more than anything
Yep.
is not in your control at all. Like you want to get laid, right? Maybe that wasn't exactly the same with you guys.
I still
obviously.
wanted the validation of a pretty
Women.
girl that I want to
Yep,
marry or whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that at its core is like very real. I think all dudes can relate to this. Like
Yep.
we want these girls to validate us. And then the feeling of either not being good enough, not having enough resources. I'd imagine if you look at the people that are into the manosphere stuff, it's like younger-ish guys who probably are not that financially secure.
Yeah.
Nobody with like tons of money and success is tapping into the manosphere stuff because it's like, well, you're getting pussy. And at the end of the day, I either want to find out how to get pussy or I want a reason why girls aren't fucking me. So it's either here's the trick to get laid or see these bitches, all they care about are these things and those
Yep,
things are horrible
fair.
and I don't have them, so fuck them.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of money hungry bitches.
Or even like what Mark said, which I thought was really poignant.
And I think this is a very fair point, but it comes back to the same thing. You're exploiting young children, right? Vulnerable children, because every child or everybody actually goes through some phase of vulnerability, right, in their lives, frustration in their lives. But if you use that particular point to actually capitalize on it and then turn people into these misogynistic, bunch of souls, this is gonna be a bad. That the person is like just pure evil.
On that episode is I feel like you guys are good guys who got like played by girls or whatever, and then you get hurt, and then your reaction is, oh, it's not my fault. These women are X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them.
And
Makes
I
sense.
think what happened, at least I know it's happened with me. I know for a fact it's happened with you and you and you. I imagine as well. Is like you got a little bit older, and it was probably later for me than you guys. Well, definitely, but you get a little older, and then you find like a great like woman,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to harbor any animosity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you can still see women being annoying. We're gonna have
yeah,
jokes
yeah.
about women, just like we're gonna have jokes about fucking Latinos. We're gonna have jokes about everybody. Everybody gets these jokes, but the feeling of I am completely powerless in the ability to get validation from this group of
Yeah.
people that means so much to me.
Right.
You have that woman that loves you more than anything in the world, and all of a sudden you're not out here trying to stump and fight, and
Yeah.
the men are killing themselves every day, and,
Yeah.
you get the feeling earlier.
Yeah.
But you will grow out of it. My concern is, are people like tattooing themselves by becoming famous, by red pilling and becoming like a famous red pill guy? You're eventually gonna evolve out of it. It happened.
Yeah.
I went through. You look at even my earlier stand-up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't go through it through I'm gonna rant on this fucking look into a stream and rants. Like I created art out of it, but you eventually evolve out of it.
Evolve out of it. Yes, that's
What
correct.
happens now that you have thousands of videos of you on the internet saying these things that you won't believe in 2 years?
Yep.
You're gonna have a girl that you love, and you're gonna look back and you're like, "What the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
I was just insecure, and I wasn't getting the girls that I want to get, and there was hotter chicks I think I deserved, but they weren't showing me any attention or love. They were just dating these crypto guys." Like now that thousands, maybe tens of thousands of videos exist of you on the internet saying the worst thing, That's a tattoo, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to mention if you built an
Yep.
audience around it and your financial sustainability is dependent on it.
Can you go on that
Then
a
it's
little bit
like,
long?
okay, I've built a manosphere audience where all of my audience wants me to talk shit about women.
Yeah.
And now I've obviously got married. I had a daughter. I don't view women in the way that I used to, but my audience wants me to keep on saying this shit.
You have a lifestyle built around the money that's coming in from that audience.
Do I pivot and try to turn a different direction and try to pull some of the audience with me? Inevitably, a lot of them will fall off and find the next person if they haven't grown up with me in the same way. And then I lose that percentage of my money, or I just implode my whole audience altogether. And like, that's really scary, especially because the time that you're doing it is once you've built a family.
Yeah.
So it's like, now I have a family.
And I got to
now-
support my family.
Now I'm about to be as
Yep.
financially unstable as I've ever been because I'm turning my back on my audience that has built me up.
And if you don't, now your wife is all embarrassed. She got to answer these questions every 2 seconds. Like, how do you deal with the crazy things? These guys. So now you got to hide your wife.
And not just like wife, if you talk about it, if your parents, if your kids, they grow up, they're going to school and you're continuously talking trash about women, she's going to grow up with other women in the school talking to her about how her dad talks about other women. That's just horrible. Why would you want to put your child through that?
And your kids from the world, so they don't got to deal with the fact that you're being fraudulent. If you really believe in that shit, run it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have her defend it.
Yeah.
It's I
Fair.
wonder if people. One of the great things about the internet is we get to put our art out there, we get to put our comedy out there, we get to put our content, podcasts, have so much fun. One of the tricky things about it is that it's on the blockchain now.
Yeah.
Like your evolution is there.
Yep.
And it might be harder to evolve if one, your finances are back to these beliefs that you will grow out of. 100% you will grow out of.
Yeah.
And if you don't grow out of
Absolutely.
them, then maybe you never found that person that is gonna love you in a way that you didn't know that you could be loved.
I think you and the people, I think, put more value in authenticity than a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think most of social media is an inauthentic version of ourselves just to try to get validation or money or whatever.
Fair.
So I don't think these guys are as concerned about being inauthentic when they evolve, when they grow, whatever. They deal with that. They hide their wife. They hide their daughter. They don't talk about it.
Yep.
They just make
Fair.
their videos. They don't care about being authentic. They just want validation, fame, money. A lot of them.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We wanted to, and I think on this podcast, we try to be authentic. Through stand-up, we try to be authentic.
Fair. I think if you're gonna cancel people like Andrew and if you're gonna ban people like them, you should be able to cancel other people as well, other extremes. So that's something that's a fair ask. But I really like the point that Andrew made about evolving out of that kind of content. Once you do, what do you want your audience to be? Or what do you want your audience to remember you by? That's going to be a huge challenge. But I don't think that's a struggle for most people. They wouldn't care about that. So I guess Akash had a point as well. Anyway, guys, if you have any other videos you want me to check out, leave them in the comments below and I'll see you in the next one.